Hello, everyone, and welcome to the One Conscious Love Network. I am here with my good friend Dale, and Dale is going to tell you all about him and his journey into awakening. It's a really fascinating story. So please, Dale, tell us about yourself and what it is that you do.
Yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on this beautiful network. I'm quite honored. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Melanie. So, yeah, just a little bit about me. My spiritual background is that I was actually raised in what you call an evangelical born again Christian home, um, which was very loving and very wonderful. I appreciate that, but I've kind of no longer identify specifically as that, although I have a great deal of respect for people that do. And I'll kind of tell you a little bit why. So let's see. So when I was a child, I had situations where I was, and this is a gift now when I look back on it, but I was like relentlessly bullied. I don't know if anyone can relate to this kind of thing. So when I was a child, I was not a typical kid. I was a very hyper, energetic, very happy-go-lucky kind of child. And that kind of rubbed other kids the wrong way. I had what you call, I don't know how to call this, but it wasn't a mainstream energy. I was kind of an outcast or a little bit different. I wasn't a typical popular kid. And I didn't really have any friends in elementary school. I think I had one friend pretty much through the whole thing until I got to high school, and then I had more friends, and that was good. But um, so I had my cat. That was my friend, my cat, my dog. Grew up on a farm. But yeah, there was the reason I want to share this is this was my first major spiritual awakening. I had a particular bully that used to body check me against the lockers in the hallways because he was a big kid and I was a smaller kid. And he would pick on me and bully me and call me names. But I just had this overwhelming love for this kid because somehow I thought, man, I really want to be friends with this kid, but he's a real bully. But I never ever once felt angry towards him or vengeful, none of that, which I know a lot of people find strange, but I just didn't come in with that kind of energy, the revenge or So I felt this love, but I didn't know how to get it so that we would be friends because I couldn't stand up to this kid because he was much bigger than me. So I kind of just, I would be body checked against the lockers. I was physically hurt. And every day I would go home and cry to my parents. The one thing that was I was afraid to go to school because of this bullying. So I tell my dad, please, I don't want to go back to school today. I don't want to go. And plus, I didn't like school. I'm like, I don't want to go back to school. But my dad was like, oh, you have to go to school. If you don't go to school, you won't get a job and this sort of thing. So I went to school. One day I had an idea when they came home to pray for this kid. So I prayed that my understanding of God at the time, God would bless this guy, and I sent love to him. And I didn't really have any agenda behind that. I don't know. I didn't realize what I was doing even, but I wanted everybody, and I still do. I want well-being for everybody, right? So I wanted well-being for this child. Obviously, he was a hurt kid hurting kids. Hurt people. You hear that idea. So I went home, I prayed for him, and that night I had a dream. And in the dream, we were best friends, or we were really good friends. I'm like, what? So I woke up. I had a really happy, warm feeling in my heart. I woke up, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, it was just a dream. So I was a little bit bummed out. I was a little sad. It's just a dream. So I went back to school that day, but something incredible happened. A miracle happened. That day they were playing soccer. They kicked the group of kids were playing soccer, including this kid. They kicked the ball a little too hard, and it came over to me. And he said, "Hey, you want to come join us? You want to come play?" And from that day on, it was as if he had never ever bullied me before. He treated me with kindness. He treated me with respect. And we had a great relationship after that. And I thought, okay, wow, this is not sure what happened here, but this is cool and I'll go with it. Uh, so, but I think I did have an idea. It was because of the energy. I mean, I didn't call it energy back then. I didn't realize that we're all one and that the way we view others changes the dynamics of the relationship. So that was my first experience of that, where my vibration towards him was love. And when your vibration is only love, when we drop judgment of other people, that's what gets reflected back to us. That's what gets reflected back to us because I feel like the universe is like a big mirror. It mirrors back to you. The way people treat you is the way internally you view yourself and you view them. So you have to be a vibrational match for anyone or anything to harm you physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I found that you need to be a vibrational match for that harm. Anger, fear, revenge, those things will guarantee that someone else will come in and hurt you or harm you. However, when you keep this loving vibration, then you can only be a match to that. And those people either, if people are mistreating you, if you raise your vibration, what I found is either they'll disappear from your life completely or they will show up in a completely different way. And in this case, this kid showed up in a really, really wonderful way. So that was my first little, I guess you could say, awakening about, wow, that love is actually the answer. That love is, and you call it the one conscious love network, Melanie. I love that because this message seems to resonate with that, or it does, because love is truly the answer. When we're in a lower vibration of guilt, shame, struggle, striving is the aim. And you have to make a lot of effort to earn money, to have friends, to achieve, to do all this stuff. And it's tough and it's a struggle, it's a fight. I prefer to live in the higher vibration of unconditional love, where I see everybody, no matter dark or light, I see it as one energy, not splitting the dark off, not pushing the dark away. And so I feel like we've come here to learn to stop judging. And by judging, I mean condemning. Of course, we judge whether or not we want to go to the movies tonight. Okay, that kind of judgment's okay. That's more like a discernment, making choices. That kind of judgment is fine. But the condemning judgment is the negative energy judgment. I think we've come here to learn to move beyond judgment and to understand that there is only one. Call it the one conscious love network. Once again, I love that because I believe there's only one. There's no separation between us and what we call God or the divine. And when we recognize that, we can live a truly extraordinary life. Truly extraordinary. So I'll move on. So that's what I learned as a child, that you could live in love for others and they would treat you well. So I've always made love and kindness the way. Even people that have mistreated me, I try to show love. People go, oh, doesn't that make you a doormat? Actually, no, it doesn't. So once again, the idea that someone can take advantage of you, low vibration. That's which is fine. We're learning, we're moving up the vibrational ladder, but we come to recognize that when we truly embody love, it's love with wisdom. Doesn't mean we don't have boundaries. We still have the boundaries. And those boundaries happen quite naturally when you are in true unconditional love. It's when you're in conditional love or human love, where you have an agenda or you expect to get something back. That's where people can take advantage of you. So that's where that comes in. So conditional human love, yes, people can walk all over you like a doormat. Absolutely. And that in the past, when I was still sort of going back and forth between conditional and unconditional love, that certainly happened to me as well. But I learned that if you stay in this grounded centerness of your being, in your inner beingness, you stay in living in alignment with your true nature of joy, moment to moment to moment, it becomes impossible for people to take advantage or use you because they're just not a match to that true joy, that true joyful energy. And the kind of joy I'm talking about is not a joy that's based on externals. It's an inner joy that you carry with you all day long, no matter what trials or challenges that are appearing. You recognize that everything's happening for you and not to you, and you can effortlessly sail through those challenges by relaxing into them. The greater the challenge, the more calmness is required. And when you stay calm, no matter what challenge you have, the challenge just naturally seems to fix itself. I've noticed this all my life. If I get a challenge, instead of reacting to the challenge and flying off the handle, like that's what the mind-based ego wants to do, is like react in an effort to protect. Well, when you realize you're in oneness, you're only protecting yourself from yourself because you're the one running the show, your higher self. The larger aspect of yourself is the one that's truly in control, not your human self that thinks it's in control but never is. So when you rest in the awareness that you are one with life, you come to recognize that any challenge that's occurring to you is never happening, is never being caused by anyone but yourself. You are doing it to you. And when you recognize that, you're like, oh, I can take a breath now. Okay, so I'm doing this to myself. Okay, I have to take a little rest here. And you can just kind of like effortlessly sail through those challenges. And yeah, even if they're really, really big challenges, you get a wider bandwidth to be able to handle and withstand challenges when you stabilize in unconditional 5D love, when you truly embody that. So moving back to my childhood. So I went along in my childhood. I had a lot of love. My parents were very kind. So I'm very blessed that way. I'm very grateful. So my first traumatic experience would have been when I was uh, 4 years old, when I took a bone away from a dog, and I found out that's not a very smart idea because my face was munched by that dog. So I had to get the stitches in the face. And that was shocking for me because that's my first taste of, whoa, you mean negative things can happen? What's this? I was surprised because I thought life was just one big bowl of cherries. I thought I was just like, it's just, things are just wonderful all the time. And then that happened. So that was shocking. And then because I had that fearful energy of dogs in me now, I got attacked by another dog the next year when I was 5. So it happened again. And once again, hospital, face, stitches. And at that time, the stitches were on little wires where strings, and then kids could pick on those. So that my parents were like, okay, you went to kindergarten for one day, but we're pulling you out. So I did not, I actually entered elementary school at 6 years of age. I was only there for one day at 5. And in Canada, we usually start at 5 years old, or back in those days, back in the 70s. So yeah, so I went to kindergarten for one day, got attacked by a dog again. In this case, I was running with my friend, and then I guess his friend's dog attacked me. So I had kind of a lifelong fear of dogs after that. I love cats because when they bite me, it doesn't put me in the hospital. So the cats are cute. I was always a cat person. But now I like dogs again. It took a long time to get over those fears. But anyways, so that was my first taste of the negative polarity when I was a child, and then of course the bullying. And then let's flash forward to 2011. This was my major spiritual, well, actually 2004. I had my first awakening with a guy named Wayne Dyer. I don't know if I'm sure people are familiar. He was a wonderful teacher. And he put a meditation out called Getting in the Gap, where you learn to go between the gaps of the words and you just rest in that blissful loveliness. That was my first taste of meditation. So I was very attracted to that. I was told by my evangelical Christian teachings that that was evil or bad or anything that's not completely with born again evangelical fundamentalist Christianity is of the devil. But I was always curious, but I'm so attracted to this new age stuff. And I just couldn't resist it. I was like, this looks interesting. I saw this meditation in the bookstore. I got into it. And then it started opening up a world of self-love, like loving myself more. And I started using a meditation by Dr. Jeffrey Thompson, who I've had on my podcast. He's a sound composer and he creates these lovely meditations that change the brain waves in your brain and bring you really into present awareness. And so I still do those. I still even do the Wayne Dyer one sometimes. I just love that. So anyways, so I started getting into that. Um, so 2012, around 2011, late 2011, I was living with this wonderful lady, and but she was getting very depressed and because she was having trouble with her family. And I didn't want to, while I wanted to keep compassion for her, I didn't want to lower my vibration to meet hers because she was in a very downstate. So I had compassion, but not commiseration, which is disempowering. So every day I would go off and meditate more and more and more to try to keep my vibration high so that I could support her with wherever she was at. But I didn't want to like keep at the same level that she was at. And what happened was our vibrations got farther and farther and farther away to the point where that ended our relationship because our vibrations were no longer a match. And that's fine. And I wished her well. And she was a lovely person. And so that was, but I used, the awakening came from that experience because I was following a gentleman named Eckhart Tolle at that time. And he had this thing called the power of now. And I was studying that and how to stay present, how to stay focused in the present moment. And he had a thing where if you're going through grief, you can do this meta. And I was going through grief because this woman was leaving me. So but I didn't want to like stay in that grieving space for like months and months and months like I had previously. When I had broken up with someone, I would be depressed for like sometimes like 3, 5 years. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm like losing my life here. And so I did this thing where I was able to look inside, look at the energy of the grief, and it actually transmuted into joy. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's this? So that was surprising. And so even though this woman left me, I was in a complete state of ecstasy and joy from the meditation. So I was able to wish her well on her way to stay. So that was a major awakening. And that happened just before 2012, which seems to be a lot of the time that people had their big awakenings. And then 2018, flash forward over to that, I got into a situation where I I was working I was actually I was writing parking tickets to people. It was kind of a soul-sucking job. I was working in this place called Stanley Park in Vancouver, Canada, and I was writing people parking tickets. And one of my coworkers accidentally shone one of the lasers that one of the because they use lasers on the license plate sometimes, and they shone it on, and I thought that it hit my eye, and I went into such a panic that I was like, oh my God, my eyesight was very scared, and my vibration of course dropped dramatically because I was in this constant, I couldn't control it. I was in this constant 24/7 state of fear that my eyesight was damaged from the laser. Now, I found out later that the laser had just missed my eye and my eyes have been okay. So thank God. So I actually was worried for nothing, but of course it was a reaction. And so that actually dropped that fear, what I learned from this gift is that my fear dropped my immune system so bad that I attracted a situation where a spider bit me on the corner of my mouth. And that actually put toxins into my nerves. And then I damaged the nerves in my face. And I got this thing called the suicide disease or trigeminal neuralgia, which is where you get these electric shock things going off in your mouth. And that was Well, that was a little distracting, to say the least, to the point where I lost everything. I lost my income, so you can see how being in a strong state of fear is you're creating a reality with your feelings and your thoughts. And that was the great gift to learn from this. So the thing is, with fear, the more intense the fear, the more intense the consequences are going to be. It took me 8 years to heal the nerves in my face, but thank God they're healed. And I'm grateful for that. So anyways, 8 years, pretty much bedbound for part of that time. And then, gradually my nerves got better and better and better. And so that created a dark night of the soul that caused me to go inward and go even deeper and deeper and deeper into my spirituality. So that's the great gift that did occur. So everything's working for the good. Even the darkest, most negative things are ultimately bringing us back to our source, or bringing us back to our heart. And that's what happened to me. And I started seeing massive miracles in my clients. So I got involved in something. I trained with Dr. Bradley Nelson, who's a chiropractor in the States, that created a modality called emotion code. And emotion code is basically something where I work with clients to help them live in alignment with the true nature of joy. And the way I do that is I help remove trapped negative emotions in different layers of what we call the heart wall. And most people have a heart wall, and the heart wall is made up of some of those traumas that you've gone through in life, and you've been very emotionally charged at that moment. Trapped balls of negative energy tend to get trapped in the energetic heart, forming what we call a heart wall. And what I discovered was it's this heart wall that's obscuring the joy, the peace, the bliss that we truly, truly are. Our true nature is to be enjoyed 24/7. But we've been programmed to live up here instead of here. Now, we can use this to process this. We can use this to serve this, but most people are controlled by this. And so what happens when the heart wall is fully dissolved, and that's what I help my clients do, when their heart wall is fully dissolved, they automatically slide from this into this, and they ground in the centerness of their being, and then automatically they love. They're in joy, in bliss. Most people are trying to use this or their intellect to be more spiritual, or to be a better person, or be a kinder person. I mean, that it's okay to do that, but it's very limited because you're using your mind, and the mind is basically designed to keep us safe and to protect us at whatever cost, even at sabotaging things, whatever. If you want to but it's all about struggling, striving, efforting, achieving. If you're tired of all that and you just want an effortless, joyful experience where things come automatically, where money flows to you automatically, relationships are amazing, you want to live here. And so that's what the dissolution of the heart wall does. It helps you slide from here to here, and the masculine mind comes into submission to the feminine heart. That's what happens. So we're still using our mind, but that constant narrator that you're not good enough, you're not worthy, all that all goes away. Now you naturally fall into your heart, where you can naturally feel how much you truly love yourself. And you can naturally feel how you want to be kind to others, etc., etc. All of this stuff comes automatically, naturally. You no longer, here, you need to forgive people. Here, everything's already forgiven. In fact, there is nothing to forgive when you're here. There's nothing to forgive. Everything is one when you're in the unity consciousness of the heart. But when you're in the division and the separation of the mind, that's where you need to forgive people, and you need to try to be a better person, and you need to be more kind and all this. And it's a struggle because sometimes, let's face it, we don't feel like being kind. So that's probably what's going to win. But when you're here, you always feel like being kind. That's natural. That's automatic. So what I try to teach my clients is this is when I work with my clients, I tell them this is not about trying to be a better person, trying to be kinder, all of that stuff. That happens automatically
Right.
when we release the heart wall. So that's what I do. So when people ask me, Dale, what's your job? What do you do? I'm like, well, I just help people live in alignment with their true nature of joy. That's that's my job. That's my job. And that's my passion, that's my purpose, that's my mission is to help people remember who and what they truly are, that you are enough. You are joy, you are love, and everything you're seeking outside of yourself is actually found within you. But this, for most people, is obscuring this. All I help my clients do is remove those layers so that this no longer obscures this. And that narrator in the head, that monkey mind goes away. I don't
Mm,
even have a monkey mind anymore. I haven't had a monkey mind for when was the last time I had a monkey mind? I'm usually very much in the present moment.
mhm.
And this is pretty quiet. I don't have a lot of thoughts anymore in my head. The only thoughts I have in my head now are to process, doing mathematics, how many groceries should I get? I still
Right,
use my mind for that, but the narrator, the constant, should I do this or should I do that? That's gone. I never make plans anymore. I allow things to unfold. I relax and enjoy the unfolding of my life. So this is all about living in a state of joy, moment to moment to moment, 24/7. And there's zero fear. Whatever's going on in the world is okay with me. It is what it is. I have no control over that. I can only control how I feel about what's going on in the world. And
right,
if I'm judging what's going on in the world as bad or evil, well, hey, then that's going to be my reality, isn't it? But when I recognize that everything happening in the world, and there is a lot of chaos, we're not denying that. There is chaos going on in the world, but that is what's bringing about the new earth that's coming. All the old systems are collapsing now so that something new and amazing can come. So it's all good. It's all God. It's all one. And when we realize that the what we call the matrix, when we realize that there is no matrix outside of you that can harm you, that in fact the matrix is you. It's me. It's a collective aspect of our shadow self. And it's about integrating the shadow. If you do that personally, then the same thing applies for collective stuff. That is also a shadow that's now integrating. And the way that it's integrating is when things integrate, the old collapses, all the old systems, economic, political, all these things are changing. And that's a good thing. It looks really negative on the surface, but it's actually very beautiful because it's a pendulum. Pendulum swings. The more the pendulum swings into the darkness, the more it swings into the light. So the darker it is, the more light is around the corner. And this is the greatest time to be alive. This is the greatest time to thrive. Because remember, thriving is not, when you're living in the 5D heart, the thriving is not dependent on externals. Okay. If you're worried about survival, then that's how you know that you're living in the 3D mind and not in the 5D heart. Because in the 5D heart, life is effortless, it unfolds, you're in a constant state of receivership mode, whereby you just speak something and it manifests. That's what I notice in my own life. I say something and it seems to happen very, very quickly now. It used to be quite a gap of time. Now you realize that you're the operant power, that your word is law, and that the words that you speak are powerful. They're powerful. So when you use the word I am, be very careful about what you put at the end of that. If you say I am well-being, that's good. Put things at the end of I am that you want to see happen in your life. I am well. I am abundant. I am joy. I am peace. I am love. There's a reason those feel good. That's your emotional guidance system letting you know that you're on track with your inner being. Because your inner being is completely neutral. It doesn't have any judgment about right or wrong, good or bad. It only sees everything as contributing to the whole. It doesn't see right or wrong. So the problem comes when we split positive and negative. I mean, yes, there is positive and negative, but recognizing that they're the same energy is so important for integrating the dark. Understanding that they're both the same and transcending this battle of light and dark becomes how do you say, automatic in the 5D heart. If you're still in a fight, if you're still, I'm taking a stand for the light. Well, careful, you are the light. You don't need to take a stand. Yes, of course, personally, you take a stand in for what you want in your life. But collective stands, let it go. Let it go. Stop being in the fight. That's what they want. That's what the sides want. You notice there's always two sides that want to divide people. The only way they can divide you is if they get you on one side or the other. And then you're feeding all of your life force energy into that fight when you could be living in a state of continuous joy. And that will be vibrating. That affects the collective far more than walking around with a picket sign and trying to be in some sort of a fight. Like, what are you fighting? Like, that's not going to, in my opinion, that's not going to help anything. So the best thing to do is let go of your positionalities, let go of opinions, be neutral, stop taking a stand. That's what they want. They don't care if you're for or against something, but once you're for or against, that's how they drain, that's how the matrix takes your energy. When it gets you in a fight, when it gets you angry, fearful, notice what happens when you're in the battle for the light and the dark. Now you're making the dark bad. But the dark ain't bad. The dark is just a distorted form. Some people say it's the absence of light. I like to say it's a distorted form of light, in that it's the same energy and it can be transmuted back into light. So darkness is here to serve the light, and light is here to serve the darkness. They are not mutually exclusive, they are one. And when we stop trying to separate, stop trying to make the darkness bad or sinful or evil, let's let go of the word evil. Why do we even use that word anymore? I don't identify with that word anymore, because there is no source of evil outside of yourself. Okay? It's the view that you have internally that is projecting whatever you're seeing in your reality. So what I'm doing right now with my clients, I'm seeing incredible miracles. I am helping people. I have this wonderful free webinar that people can go. If this message resonates at all with anyone, I have a free webinar on my website, dalecross.net, called Activate Your 5D Heart in the 3D. And in this webinar, I explain 3 steps to freedom, and completely free. And I don't care if you want to do anything with me or whatever, hey, whatever. But check out this free webinar, okay? Because it's made a huge difference in people's lives. And then if that does still resonate, then feel free to, because one of the things I do offer in the webinar is this idea of the heart wall. And it is a shortcut to to embodying 5D in the 3D. So the removal of the heart wall is something that I offer people if people are interested in that. If not, that's fine too. But if something I've said does resonate with you and you're ready to live in that automatic state of peace, then check out the webinar. And then if that's still resonating, that you're like, I want the shortcut. I'm tired of struggling, fighting, efforting, trying to be a better person, trying to be more spiritual, trying to achieve enlightenment, which you can't even do because you're already that. If you're tired of that and you want a shortcut to slide from here to here, feel free to book a free discovery call to see how I can best help you and see if we can see how I can best help you to really live in true alignment with joy on a day-to-day basis.
That's so beautiful. We'll definitely put the links in the comments so that people can easily find your webinar and your information, Dale. That was really wonderful. A question I always ask everyone, but I feel like you've already answered it, is if you
Okay.
choose conscious love every day. It feels like you're really an emulation of all of those things, but I'll let you answer, of course.
I mean, it's just, you know what it is? It's just, I think the message is very simple. Your true nature is joy. And so if you were to throw all spiritual practices out the window, even meditation, everything, if you were like, Dale, what's one thing I can do? You're like, I'm tired of watching all the spiritual things on YouTube, all this. Okay, if there's just one thing, just live moment to moment to moment. Find joy in every moment. Live in alignment with your true nature of joy, moment to moment to moment throughout the day. And even when challenges come up, the bigger the challenge, the more calm you need to be. And I promise you that challenge works itself out in due course. It actually, because and then you'll be like, oh my God, the universe is benevolent. The universe is here because you are the universe. Why would you hurt yourself? It's when you wake up and recognize that you are the universe. There's nothing separate from you. That's when you can practice this one conscious love. But that's when you can live in alignment with your true nature of joy and just go with the flow of life. Go with the flow of life, and then you can have a truly magical life.
Amazing. I know I could listen to you all day, so I'm sure
Oh,
everyone
geez, you're too
will feel
kind.
the same way and join your webinar so we can hear more
Oh, thank
about
you so much.
you sharing, because that is such beautiful practice. Yeah.
Thank you so much for Melanie.
Oh, thank you for being here. Anything you'd want to share? Anything else?
Just yeah, it's just that main message, just like live and enjoy. I mean, life is so beautiful. It's life is really what you make it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if withdraw your attention, energy, and focus off of the news. If there was one thing I could tell people, turn it off. Like
Yeah.
stop with viewing like all the politics and all that. Who cares? That doesn't have any effect on my life. Uh, it only has an effect on your life when you feel that you're separate from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a threat outside of you. But when you come to recognize that you are everything, that you're one with everything, that in fact you're a fractal, you're a physical extension of non-physical source energy. And that there's just a constant 24/7 source of well-being. In fact, the baseline reality is well-being. So then why do we see all the stuff people say, but Dale, then why do we see everything go all the negative? And I say, relax. It's because you either allow or disallow that well-being. That
Mm-hmm.
being is always available to you 24/7. Abundance, all needs met, radiant health, abundance, all of this stuff is available. You're either allowing or so why do you not experience that stuff? You're disallowing it with your vibration. The primary reality is not physical. That's the secondary reality. But people get hung up in this is physical reality is number one. What if I were to tell you the primary reality is vibrational? You can't control the physical reality. You can only control how you feel about it. So when
Mm-hmm.
you start to love this reality and have unconditional love, even for the dark stuff, you will see your world will change in a dramatic way. Recognize that everything is here to serve you. It's not it's not against you, it's here to serve you. It's only when you're in resistance to whatever is in the present moment, whether positive, it's easy not to be in resistance to positive things, but when something that we perceive to be negative is happening, we tend to
Mm-hmm.
resist. The moment what you resist persists. So I try to live moment to moment to moment in a state of non-resistance to whatever is happening. I go, wow, it's just part of the process. This is what's happening. This is what's meant to be today. Interesting. I have a pain in my knee today. Let's use it as a hypothetical example. You don't run and grab, you don't run and like, you don't necessarily have to run and take a cold ice bath or something. What, I mean, you can do that, of course, but take care of it, go to the doctor, do whatever you need to do, of course. But before you do those things, send love.
Mm,
Ask your knee, what are you trying to show me here? What's the message? Because that's a signal that something's out of balance, right? That's
right.
all. And
That's
then always say, what's next? What's next? And then just let things unfold. Just put one step forward, and let go of importance on things. This is a key because when you make when you make one thing more important than something else, that's called attachment or identification. When
mhm,
you do that, you tend to get the opposite of what you want because you're trying to cling, you're trying to hold on. What if you were to let go of importance of everything? Watch the magic that happens in your life. Stop taking life so seriously. Just have fun. We're here to have fun. We're here to create. That's my main message. Stop taking life so making things important because nothing is more important than anything else because everything is inherently neutral. Life has no inherent meaning. You're allowed to put whatever meaning you want on life. You get to dictate that. So apply. So you can say, oh, this life is a prison world. This is a prison planet. We're in a soul trap. Oh my God. You're probably not going to have a very fun life. So you can choose that belief system if you want, and then that will play itself out. Or you can say, the baseline reality is well-being. I'm going to allow this. I'm going to stop resisting what's going on in my life. I'm just going to allow the baseline reality, which is well-being, peace, love, joy. Then you will see the beauty and love in everything, even the darkness. If you can see when you see the love in the darkness turns back into light. Hello, there's a little hint, hint. Um, you can truly make your life extraordinary when you let go of the judgments saying that this life is tough, life is bad. Well, no, that's the meaning that you're giving to life. It doesn't need to be that way. Choose to see the life as joy, as peace. Look at it as an adventure. And then live moment to moment in a state of curiosity, like a child, right? Children, they are innocents. They be like a child. Jesus said, lest ye become like a child, ye cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. What was he saying? I feel like he was saying that children are living in their hearts.
yeah.
They're not worried about how am I going to pay the bills tomorrow. They're not all full of stress. Yes, you can actually return back to that innocence. You can live in that childlike state of wonder, and you can just go moment to moment and just let things look at children. They don't think about time. They're playing with their toys or whatever, and then mom says it's dinner time, and they're like, huh? They even forgot that they're hungry. This is the way you want to live. Outside of time, it is possible. And yes, you can still function and still pay your bills and still do things. Believe it or not, it's still possible. So just live in a state of, curiosity, awe, and wonder, and then go moment to moment. Uh, just instead of stop making plans. I don't make plans anymore about
Mm,
anything. Honestly, I just let things unfold. I do say, what's next?
right.
Sustaining curiosity, and then I just follow that. Like even being on this. Okay, so I told my guides, hey, can I have some more podcasts? I think something like that, right? And then you reached out to me and added me, and then I saw, oh, she does interviews, and then, oh, okay. So I really felt in alignment with your offering. And so I acted on that inspiration. So that's how letting things just unfold organically and naturally, as opposed to making plans up here that usually don't work out. Actually, every time I've made plans in my mind, they've always failed, thank God. And then I realized I think I'm just going to stop making
Yes,
plans. I'm just going to go with the flow. It's there's zero stress. If
beautiful.
But it does require a radical trust that
Yes,
life is you, right? Then you can trust yourself, you can trust life. So anyway, thank you so much.
beautiful. Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much for coming
Thank you.
on, Dale. And
Thank you.
everybody, please reach out to Dale and get to know him, see what he's offering. It's really fascinating stuff, as you found out today. And so I look forward to staying in touch. And thank you so much, Dale. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed this interview, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you,
You
everybody,
too.
for watching.
Peace and blessings. Thank you.